Back to another edition of Ain't That Right? I'm your host, Duncan Dad. We are here live like we said we would be on Thursday. A little out of the gate action here, and it's the MLB trade deadline day. You know what's happened. It's like the hot stove, only the gas is cranked up. People coming in, trades coming in, it's fast, it's furious. The Phillies. Hey, Dave Dombrowski. Let's go ahead. Got ourselves a closer. Didn't give up too much. I hear a lot of chatter about giving this up and trading away future prospects, and we always look through that through life sports and everything in between that great big prism because you're always giving something up now for hopefully something later. But a lot of times in life, you gotta strike while the iron's hot. Live in that moment. Take that chance, take that trip, take that job. Go head over heels into something. This doesn't mean you throw caution to the wind and you don't have an exit plan and you're just blind. Because we have our party practice and principles that are in place to hopefully carry us through if and when things come up. You know, we were talking about the other day, preparing for things, but great little analogies today with trade deadline acquisitions because you reach certain points sometimes, like, you know what? Now it's time for me to level up to the better car. Why? Sometimes it's a luxury item. Sometimes it's a reward for yourself. But other times, you need something a little more reliable. Maybe it's become part of your office. Sometimes you need to up your travel game, right? You're like, I'm done flying economy. I don't want to fly economy anymore. You know, I do this still on the regular. I need to keep myself in the same mindset where I'm at. But there's always this little bit of reservation when people trade away prospects. Now, way back whence, this was a big deal. Why? Free agency wasn't that big of a deal. You weren't worried about these monster contracts. A couple players move here and there. But for the most part, you came up in the system with the team and you just followed through, right? You finish high school, you pick a degree, a major, you pick a trade, you train for a little bit, then you enter out into the world and you stay pretty much in that same lane. Long term. However, nowadays, there is so much turnover, right? There's so much transition between I'm talking about the market of life, market of relationships, markets of your career constantly changing. What was hot yesterday is not hot today. 15 minutes later, it could be done. We all had somebody who came for a quick, brief moment down there on the streets. I think it was like Nashville or whatever, the Hawk Tuah girl, whatever. Had her 15 minutes of fame, dropped the crypto thing, lots of money, got out, and we never know where she's at right now. So you can only plan so much ahead, and you want to leave yourself an umbrella, right? You want to leave yourself a little parachute. That's cool. But you miss a lot of these opportunities if you're so hell-bent on holding on to all of these resources at all times. I'm not saying to be frivolous with it. I'm not saying to be irresponsible with it. I'm not saying go max out everything you have, although I've done that in order to pursue something. But if it's bringing you happiness, it's bringing you joy, it's giving you experiences, you're not promised tomorrow. You're not promised the next couple hours. Go ahead in for it. And specifically now in Major League Baseball, the NFL, primarily baseball, primarily basketball, you need to strike while that iron is hot. You have a small window to win. You have a nice group of people assembled. You need a couple people to push you over that hump. Make the trade and go ahead and do it. Well, what about in 3 to 5 years? Well, in 3 to 5 years, you might not be in this position again. Well, we're going to rebuild and I want to have a good product. Sure you do. But right now, you have a legitimate opportunity to win a championship, to get over that hurdle. You've got to take that chance. You have to do it. Now, on the opposite side, where you go to the extreme, you look what San Diego did. And not being completely sports-centric today, but to put that into our realm that we like to speak about, they unloaded everybody. And San Diego's got this horrible track record of just unloading prospect after prospect after prospect to try to chase something. But they must know something. They must see something. Dodgers are still in first place. But they may see that, okay, we match up a little bit better this year. Our pitching's holding down, so we're going to go get Mason Miller. And we're going to give up, our number one and number two prospect. Sometimes you have to leverage potential future for what's happening right now. Because what's happening right now may supersede what comes along in the future. Be prudent? Yes. Be responsible? Yes. But you got to roll that dice. right? You are not going to win the lottery by not playing the lottery. Oh, well, there's better avenues you can go about stuff. Okay, then you're not going to succeed in life without possibly taking that extra training, potentially going to this particular convention. Oh, I think I'm good. I'm in a decent spot. You know, it was going to cost me $500 to go ahead and invest in this. Well, that $500 investment might turn into a $15,000 raise in a year, in 2 years. It might turn into that kind of raise immediately. You may meet someone, something, someplace. You just have to go and do that. And today's about taking the bull by the horns, right? Shout out to the Breakfast Club, John Hughes, God rest his soul. Take charge, right? We have these priority practice principles in place. Now it's about, all right, good use of our initiative, healthy use of our initiative. You can take control of a situation and be completely underprepared, completely unready for what's happening. Other times, close your eyes, jump in, trust what you have in place, and roll with it. But what if this comes up? What if that comes up? Well, go back to our conversation the other day. Well, what if I need more resources? Well, keep going back. Find ways. If you're going to do something, pursue something, you are going to have to leverage some of these resources, some of these emotions, some of your time, some of your energy. And that's where you really know if you are, in the hot word that you're all in on something. If you're all in on something, then you're willing to get really close to emptying the tank, right? And you're not emptying the tank of what sustains you and makes you, but your organization, your makeup, your entity as a whole. Because we've seen what's happened in those instances, right? Go back to Enron. Yeah, that didn't work out too well, right? Go look at some of these other NFT or crypto people sometimes. Like, oh, we're going like, and that's like, whoa, where the hell did you go? Right? Too big, too fast. You may have got a little bit of the pie, but then everything falls out. There has to be this separate tank of like, I'm giving all of this energy, all of this emotion, all of these little variable resources where I'm pulling them from, and I'm going to roll with it. The upside is amazing. Might take a minute for it to come to fruition, but I'm willing to do that. However, there's this little part over here, and people are like, oh, you can't do that. You can't have this little reserve side over here because then you're not 100% all in. You have to be self-serving a little bit. You have to have some selfishness in your own accountability, in your own ability to survive. Right? It's like, okay, at least I've got this place to fall over there. And if you choose not to do that, if you choose to just everything, and you 100% go in complete, understand that if and when something does happen, say on the negative side, you may not have a place to run back into, like your little cave, your little safe space, whatever it might be. And why it is important then that what you've built around you and over time, you have these, I want to call them your, maybe we'll call them like your diamond resources, right? Or your gold resources, your standard resources, right? You're going to rely on yourself. Got that. You should always be able to count on yourself to do what you want to do. But you should hopefully have one or two at least avenues that you can go down that, hey man, I need to sleep on the couch for a minute. Hey, can I just like, those things are out there. But you've got to be willing to go all in. And a lot of people aren't, right? A lot of people are like, well, I can, I don't know. And you hear people like, I gave up my job, I gave up my career, I gave up my relationship because I wanted to focus on this. And for 2-3 years, it was what other individuals would mark as a very trying and or horrible existence. I slept in my car. I showered at, my gym membership. I kind of just ate here and there. Really robbing Peter to pay Paul to keep something afloat and something going. But in the end, it paid off. Having that drive, that fortitude, that commitment, that all in is not only rare, but it really challenges you to perfect these principles and practices. lowest low times, I can still see the success. I can still see the finish line. I'm having a rough day right now. Really defeatist mindset. Everything's falling apart. Don't have a nickel or penny to my name. Nothing to eat. No one's talking to me. Yada, yada, yada. But someplace you got something that you hang on to, this belief that is pushing you through. That's all you. That's that little basket over here that when all of these things have been exhausted, still sustains you. So we get to these organizations and they're like, listen, we want to win a championship. That's our driving force. And let's not be naive. If you look up and down all the leagues, some of it's environment, some of it's personnel, some of it's financial, whatever the factor is, there are definitely organizations, teams, businesses that are primed and have put themselves, because all the trials and tribulations, all the investments, all of the trades, all of the hard decisions, to actually take that next step, get over that hump, win. We want to sometimes fool ourselves into thinking that maybe this will work over here, maybe this will work on that side. If everything falls into place, if everything is perfect, then it's going to work. I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. I'm going to use the Bengals for an example here. A great quarterback, great wide receiver, good young running back, offensive line getting better. The defense, very sus still in so many ways. People who are picking the Cincinnati Bengals to go deep into the playoffs, to win the Super Bowl. I'm not going to squish your flame out, but I'm going to tell you, realistically, you need a perfect storm to occur. You need that. Like, that is the reality. And that's why sometimes you get individuals who they come up with these, trade commentary. And I wouldn't have traded that guy. He's our future. Prospect's great. Listen, there are generational talents. Generational talents. And then there are individuals who are very, very good. If I had Bryce Harper in my farm system, I'm not trading Bryce Harper. I'm not trading Paul Skeens. I'm not trading Shohei Ohtani. I'm not trading Fernando Tatis Jr. Oh, well, this guy has so much potential. He was the number one prospect. So, you know who else is the number one prospect? Brian Taylor. You know who else is really highly touted? J.D. Drew. Did they have an okay career? Brian Taylor didn't even show up in the major leagues. J.D. Drew, serviceable career. Nothing to what he was billed to be. If I'm Tampa Bay, no way on God's green earth do I get rid of the junior kid. Never. No, I build my team around him. He's your next Randy. And when it gets to the point that is plateaued and peaked out, then you try to get return on it. Until such time, foolishness. But just because some kid came from this school and he's sitting there, he's got a good arm, or this guy over here is a top-rated quarterback. You know how many top-rated quarterbacks in college football have done nothing, like absolutely nothing, in the NFL? But yet every year we listen to people, it's the draft, he's a great guy, it's amazing, he projects out well. Eye test. That's why offensive line, defensive line, those are solid foundational picks. It doesn't mean you don't take a chance on something. Doesn't mean that you don't leverage a little bit here and there. But what you've seen more and more is that you build a strong enough product in order to leverage these prospects to get a proven commodity. If you told me right now, hey, Dunk, you got to give up this investment, that investment, over here, over there, but I'm going to give you 10 shares of Amazon, 10 shares of Apple, I'd be like, yep, go ahead, do it. Why? Because it has proven itself over time that even though I might hit the lottery with one of these other things, this is a guarantee. In this world, we like to have guarantees. Having those guarantees is being honest and open with yourself. Look, when I do X, Y, and Z, not a good person. When I do this, really good person. When I spread myself too thin, this is what happens. But we mask it, we cover it, we want to work around it, we justify it, and then what happens? Dude, why were you such an a-hole today? Why weren't you talking to me? Why weren't you nice? Why weren't you conversating? What's your mood for? Why are you taking it out on me? I don't know, because I'm not being honest with myself that I need to process some things, go through things, and I'm just taking more stuff on. That's why. Whoa, okay. Yeah, I really think we have a good team, and if we move this piece here and that, and that guy does this, we're gonna be champion. Right, and pigs are gonna fly, and we're just gonna go on a bender and a tear for the next 3 months, and everyone's gonna hit over 300, and we're gonna have X amount of plus minus on the runs. Not realistic. Can it happen? Of course. Leicester City won the Premier League Championship 5,001 odds. Yeah, it happens. Right? 5,000 times out of 1. I'm not saying you always have to take the guarantee route. I'm not saying that you don't chase your dreams. You do. But if you're going to do this, if you're going to go all in, be prepared for this stuff. And be prepared for the fact you're going to have to make sacrifices in order to do it. And you're going to have to give up some of these guarantees that you may have been holding on to. And it's going to be a little rough. Well, I got a roof over my head. Everything is great and like this. But if I'm going to chase my dream, I got to get out here and do X, Y, and Z. Well, that's going to suck. Why? Well, then I got to really make sure I got a roof and food and get out of my parents' basement and get off their insurance and like you're gonna have to do that. If not, you are just gonna remain where this is. Not saying you can't be successful, not saying you can't be helpful, not saying you can't have a good life, not saying that you can't succeed in some capacity, but this next level, this dream, this final hurdle that you're trying to go over, probably not going to get realized. I want to build a house. It's my dream house. Okay. There are going to be some big ups and big downs in order to do that. But your commitment, your discipline, your perseverance, your priority practices and principles, that is what's carrying you through. And when you're sitting there by yourself with no one around, living in your own existence, you're like, you know what? This is worth it. I believe in it. And at some point, it's going to register with everyone else, and I'm going to see the residual. Yeah, you will. You absolutely will. And I think everyone around you, when you start to network and you start to get around other individuals who are in that same chase, you're going to lift one another up. Because in this world, you need resources, yes, 100%. But a lot of times, the resources that you can really leverage for yourself and your own growth are through other people's experiences, other people's stories, other people's ins. Like, we put so much on what we see. Oh my God, look at that house. Look at that jewelry. Look at that bling. Look at that car. Look what they're wearing. Look where they're at. But we don't want to ask the other question, Joe. So, 10 o'clock in the morning, you're sitting there, like, what's going on? Well, I have my routine. I'm reaching out to a couple people, and, I got 50 million no's. I got one yes, one maybe. I'm trying to follow up with that, but I can't forget about all these other people over here. Why? Because maybe one of them's going to reach back out. Well, I want to do it myself. Well, you can only do things for yourself so long. Then at some point, you've got to take your little dream and kind of push it out there. And people are going to attack it. People are going to talk bad about it. People are going to champion it. People are going to raise it up and praise it up. Always, again, that reaction and that next step. Everybody's like, step 1, start and do this and chase it. Step 2, it's funny, right? Go back to South Park. Old school heads, people, you're going to remember exactly what the scene is. And I'm not trying to be misogynistic or whatever. It was like the underpant gnomes or something like that. It's like, step 1, get the underpants. Step 2, no idea. Step 3, whatever the money or whatever it is that they're trying to do. The point is, like, everyone's got the great ideas. Everyone sees the end result that they want. It's this in-between that everybody gets caught up on. Because the in-between stuff, it's not pretty. It's not fun. It's not the party. It's not the fantastic dream. It's not the ambition. It's, man, I'm really tired. I feel like crap. And I've just really worked myself to the bone. And I've got an invitation to go do X, Y, and Z to kind of clear my mind a little bit. But you know what? I can't. I got to stay focused on this. Because whenever this little bell goes off over here and that door opens and I step through, I'm going to be ready for it. I'm going to be ready for that opportunity. I'm going to be ready for that person who's offering me a promotion. I'm going to be ready for that relationship. I'm going to be ready for my own self-growth. I'm going to be ready for the travel. I'm going to be ready for someone saying, can you take this project and run with it? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. It's huge. It's the in-between, right? Tom Petty, the waiting is the hardest part. It is, because you don't know when it's going to pop off. Sometimes it's super quick, super easy. Some people walk an idea, boom, hits traction, it's got ground, everybody wants it, success. But for the most part, and for the people that I would guess every one of us out here in the world really look up to as mentors and those that we respect, it's a process and it takes time. And the reason why it's a process and the reason why it takes time is because in the end, or in the point that we want to view it as the end, to where you get to that, I don't want to call it the maintenance phase, I'm going to call it the happily content manageable phase, where you still need to grow while you sustain what you have. It's not pretty, but it comes back with something that's long-standing, right? It comes back to something that is not going away, short of there being like an unforeseen, fallout or controversy or whatnot. But even in those instances where we've had organizations have, schisms, sometimes one champion's on, does the same thing, not to the same degree, but it does happen. But you've put in the time, you've put in the effort, and it sustains itself. Go back and read the story about Puma and Adidas, right? The two brothers. Like, great story. Both eventually, big magnets in, European sportswear, blah, 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 blah. But you built something over time. You've put in the work. You didn't know when it was going to take off. And we judge many times in the moment the opposite way. Great prospect, great adventure, great job, could be amazing, let's go down this way. Then you go down and it's like, whoa, was I sold a bill of goods? Whoa, did people overvalue something, right? There's a lot of times where you walk in and they're like, hey, great job, great career path, here's your education plan, it's going to work out perfect, you're a perfect fit for this, da 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 da. And then you're getting close to the finish line. It's like, industry, it's not there anymore. Sorry. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna be? You get in a relationship, you wake up 2 years later, and a person's like, you know what? Tried, really nice, but just not feeling it. Want to go in a different direction. Maybe their life has changed. Maybe they get a career opportunity someplace else. Doesn't really involve you. Wow, okay. Those things that will inevitably happen. Great prospect. Here he comes. Tommy John surgery. Shout out to Painter. Looking at you. Love you. Love you, buddy. But, how long are we going to wait? How long are we going to wait? People are asking. I got proven commodity right here. I got a hot team. I want to get over the hump. Okay. Flashes of greatness from Mick Abel this year. Catch a prospect. Tate. He's going to be the next best thing. Proven commodity in Durant. I need a closer. My bullpen sucks. Guys, could have been nice. Would have been nice. My team is primed right now. Does it hurt a little bit ripping off the Band-Aid? A little bit. But what you're getting in return, hopefully what you're getting in return, is the best closer in baseball. Hopefully when I make this move, I'm going into the best area, the best landscape for the market that I'm chasing. I want to go be a farmer, move to New York City. Probably not the thing you want to do. Right? I want to get into whatever industry. As a great, TH would say, read the room. And shout out to Mark Smith, read the room, man. NoFilter.net. We overthink sometimes the really simple things. And this doesn't mean that Murphy button, boom. This doesn't mean you don't take into account all the history, all the investment. We get all that, right? We're having an adult conversation, right? But sometimes you overthink so much trying to justify why you don't or why you do something. And the answer is relatively simple. It's relatively simple in the grand scheme of things. And if you ask people outside their opinion and their honest opinion, right? Go back in the time machine to when we started this, podcast umpteen years ago. And it's like, give me the honest opinion and critique as to what's going on. Like you find that one or two people that you are honest, like really honest with. The 3 o'clock friend, the 2 o'clock friend, the one who's like, you're acting like an a-hole. I love you, but you're an a-hole. And what you're doing, not so much. Still going to be there for you, but we're going to have to go through this now. You shouldn't do da da da. Why? Well, because I've seen this play out in the past. No bueno. No bueno. Right? We've always said that. Like, find yourself that one or two people in your life where you're not going to judge them. They're not going to judge you in the sense that judging to the point of like, I don't care about you. Move on. Don't bother me. No, the people that were going to be completely raw and honest with you. Right? If I'm being a certain way, say it. If I ask a certain question, don't give me the food. Well, if he gets healthy and he recovers completely from his surgery and he gets a couple minor league games underneath his belt, maybe in the fall, he could be potentially ready to join the roster if we find ourselves in a position to do dot 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 dot. If you complete this project and this task, and you're willing to go here and there, and undertake blah blah blah, then maybe you can. Or I could go through door number 2, Chuck, and have all this in place now, right? Okay, I'll take door number 2. Why? Well, because sometimes you gotta roll the dice over here. Other times, you gotta just go through the door. Right? The right answer is like, go through the door. Go through the door. Go through it until what happens? The outside world is like, now door number 1 is shut, door number 2 is shut. Now you're left with door number 3. And door number 3 is like the farthest thing from what you wanted to exist in your life. You've got control. You have some authority over that. Again, environmental factors, resources, emotions, previous decisions that you may have made that are in place that hopefully you're waiting to come to fruition. Look at it all honestly, up and down, and be like, guess what? Now is the time for me to make the move. I don't want to pack up my apartment. I don't want to move. Yeah, but guess what? If you do that now, at this particular point in your life, and you chase that dream, you still have an opportunity to correct if things go bad. If it doesn't correct, oh my God. Imagine the dream and the life that you're living. Is it going to be easy? No. Can it be easy? Yeah, hopefully. Your entire perspective. Shout out to Porn Perspective, NoFilter.net. Joe Manuel, Eric Burns, all the boys. Go watch Deuces Wild with him and Will the Thrill Clark. The whole perspective changes. You see things in a more positive way. You may see things in a more pessimistic way that you're like, whoa, probably not a good thing. That's not good. I don't need to be around that. How do I now transition away from this over here in every phase of your life? Takes trial, takes error, takes self-accountability, takes honesty. But if you have opportunities, and again, meeting the opportunity at the moment in so much as what you are prepared to do at that time and what you're equipped to do at that time. There's a lot of teams that love to trade for Shohei Ohtani, Juan Soto. Very few people can do that. Why? Because it's going to take a lot of money or a lot of prospects. Does this mean that you can't throw your hat to the ring? Sure. Oh, I can't sell all my possessions and, move to Timbuktu. Sure you can. Sure you can. Someone might be a little more well-equipped to do it, but can you do it? Sure. Why? Because you have the ability to do it, right? And if you find yourself consistently to be in positions where you are making the decisions for yourself more than other people, other places, other organizations, other outside factors are dictating what you do, you are in a good position. Now, hold on. Hold on, wait a minute. Um, it doesn't mean that you're going to make a good decision, right? It's that little B I like to call free will and choice or enterprise, whatever you want to label it. You still have to make a good decision. A good decision might be to put all the money on, red number 7 and spin the wheel. I don't know it's red number 7. I'm a big roulette player. But other times it might be, okay, bide of my time, now let me go. But whether you take the chance and go for it now, there's risk and reward. If you wait, there's risk and reward. Why? Waiting gives more opportunity for other factors, environmental, financially, emotionally, whatever, health, to come into play. Because find a position, and this is good and bad, right? Both sides of the coin. Look at where you were a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. And if you look back, would you have gone sooner had you known all of this? Of course you would have. Would you have stayed had you known this? Of course you would have. You can money quarterback it all day. Making the move, making the decision when you put yourself in that position, in my opinion, is always going to be better because you have the control over it. It might not turn out to be the best decision, but at least it was your decision. And if you're open and you're honest with yourself and you have self-accountability, you are more than willing to live with it. Yeah, cool, I did that. Yep, I own it. I've done good things, I've done bad things. We all have. Own it, live with it, don't let it define you. Go forward with it. But if you sit in it, good and bad, what happens? Oh, that person's a Debbie Downer, victim mentality. Oh my God, they've been used. So horrible, blah, blah, blah. And then on the other side, you're such a pompous, self-serving ass that you've completely lost touch with what is going on. Again, even in those moments of decision making, there's the extreme. Sometimes you got to roll that dice on the extreme, see if it works out, and then reel it back in. You just do. Other times you ride that wave. Ask all the greatest surfers in the world. Shout out to Kelly Slater, shout out Laird Hamilton, all the OGs. You'll fall off the board at some point. You're going to keep surfing across the country and around the world, right? At some point, then back on the board, paddling back out. And sometimes, you're fortunate enough, they put you on a little dinghy, a little boat, a little jet ski thing, they roll you out there and you can pick it up in the middle. Other times, face down on the board, get your hands and feet going, start paddling out, crash wave, keep going, crash wave, keep going, till eventually you hit the next wave and you come in. Right? Shout out to all the people out there in Japan. Shout out to all the people in the Pacific. It's had a big tsunami warning. Hopefully it wasn't as impactful as they predicted it to be after the fact. Goodness. But that's the world. I picked up and moved to Hawaii. Well, there's a risk living in Hawaii. I want to go live in the islands. There's a risk living in the islands. It's so great. I'm going to live in Florida. Well, take the chance down there. Hurricanes coming through. There's always going to be something in some capacity that you are going to have to address and deal with in your life. You want to try to have the most control possible in a good way of these factors that influence you because of the decisions that you made. Right? Oh my God, I feel so hungover today. Well, you made the choice at 2:30 to go hit the after party. So I could feel sorry for you. You could feel sorry for yourself, or you'd be like, that was probably not my best decision. Now I'm looking at my bank account like, really? $35 for a ticket? Really? Yeah. Okay, now, in your little pantheon of metrics, is it worth it? Was it worth it? You have to go through all these steps. And why we use that as an example? Because you are either going to justify what you do, or you are going to find yourself blaming. You make the decisions. Put yourself in a position to where you are in control and you make the decisions, and know that at some point and sometimes you are going to have to be the one to roll the dice. Other times you're going to have to be the one to say no. You're the one who is going to have to make the best out of the scenario that you find yourself in. So, you have a chance to win a little bit more, go chase it. It's going to take time, going to take energy, going to take effort. But after the section in the middle, hopefully you're going to get over here. Ask anybody who's like done this. Oh, well, how do you know this person? How do you see this person? How'd you get... Well, when people were playing golf, when people were hanging out, when people were sleeping, when people were gaming, when people were traveling, living their best life, I was walking door to door. I was making a phone call. I was sending an email. I was doing your content creation. I was reading my books. I was honing my craft. Well, how long did that take? I don't know, 15 years, 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, 1 year. The timetable is different for everyone, which is why you having a say in it is important, because you will get to this moment where you will have either compromised your ability to move, or you will have empowered your ability to move. And this is multifaceted. This is in your relationships. Hey, you know what? Had a great time. This isn't really working out. Wish everyone the best of luck, blah, 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 blah. And you go on, why? Because you know who you are. They know who they are. No judgment on the other person. No judgment on the organization. No judgment on, the career path that you've gone down. There's so many people, they get to college, like, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. And they wind up being something completely opposite. Why? Because the romance of it and the honeymoon of it and the day-to-day process has gone away. And now it's like, what am I really willing to live in? Is the reward greater than what I have to give out? And I have to give out a lot. There's many of us out there listening, talking, chats, comments. You do a lot of things that other people will be questioning. Well, why? Well, because it resonates with me. It fulfills me. It makes me happy. It sustains me. I want to wake up and I want to do the next day. The promise of X, Y, and there. These moments that are really, really good far surpass and supersede the moments that are not that great. You're hopefully in control of that, though. You're hopefully in control of those decisions, right? That's what you're gearing up to do. But don't be so short-sighted like a lot of organizations, a lot of individuals, that you hold on and hold on and hold on and hold on to potential or prospects when you may have something over here that is calling out to you. And it could be for yourself alone. It could be for a career change. It could be for, a career bump up that you should really be investing in, that you really need to take the chance off, right? Like, in order to make money, you've got to spend money, right? In order to be better at something, you've got to put the time and the effort into it. All the funny little crap we used to listen to, back in the 80s. I'm going to pump you up. No pain, no gain. It's true. Like, it's absolutely true. You are going to be a better version of yourself when you make healthy decisions for yourself and you stop justifying a lot of the BS that you have allowed to be in your life. And the same thing with your professional career. Look what the Red Sox did with Devers. Great for the longest of time. Could be like MVP of the team. But it got to a point where they just weren't seeing eye to eye. And I said, hey, guess what? You know what? Time to part ways. Was it a little difficult on both sides? Yeah, some yes, some no. Hard feelings? Yeah, some yes, some no. But in the grand scheme of things, was it better for all parties involved? Yeah, probably. It probably was. But again, sometimes you've got to let go of this potentially prospecty vision to chase something greater. And sometimes that means taking that potentially prospect and going with it outside of where you're at. I've got a great job. I'm a really good accountant. I've a head for the coding or whatever it is. But my market here in this particular area, it just it doesn't fit. I don't want to pack up. I don't want to go to California. I don't want to pack up. I don't want to go to Chicago. I don't want to pack up. I don't want to move because that's inconvenient. I'm gonna start everything again. I gotta meet new people. I gotta get a new house. Gotta relocate the kids. Gotta bring my dog. Gotta bring my cat. Gotta find new activities. But the upside. But the upside. Right? Like, I don't want to pick up and pack everything up and move again. But I know in X amount of years, relatively soon, it'll be like, well, time to pack up Studio DD and go someplace. I'm not looking forward to moving. No one is. Why? Because you get comfortable. Sometimes you are looking forward to moving. Good for you. But it's still a process. Still something you have to go through. You got your tchotchkes, knickknacks, got to go through them. Do you really want to take that? You're carried over here again. Get rid of this, get rid of that. Right? There's an undertaking with it. Well, I really want to go to Disney World next summer, but that means I got to work more. That means I got to put some more money aside. I got to coordinate everybody's schedule. Well, I guess we'll shoot for it, but if it doesn't happen, okay. Pick something. Pick two things. Go after it. Accomplishing little goals and little dreams and little things every day build into the bigger thing. But it takes work, takes perseverance, takes discipline, takes resilience and reliance on your priority principles and practices, being in control of your decisions, and hopefully putting yourself in a position where you are able to have more of a say in your life as opposed to you being the one saying yes and or no, yes and or no, yes and or no, okay, yes, yes, okay, yes, yes. You're asking the questions. You're making the moves. But don't be hesitant to take a chance on yourself. You don't know if you're going to be an opportunity until you put yourself in that position. But be honest. I'm not going to run outside right now and go run a marathon. Not going to do it. Why? Because I haven't been running that way for umpteen months, umpteen years. But anyway, nice little walk, nice little jog, nice little 5K. Yeah, sure, cool. I can do that. And maybe after enough of them, I can get to the marathon. It's being honest, that's being realistic. It's not saying you'll never do it, you'll never get your dream. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. But you're not setting yourself up for a failure. Well, how do you know? I'm going to make this decision, I'm going to take this chance, I could be setting myself for failure. You know when you're ready in your life to be, say, finished. You have completed that particular verse and or chapter, and it's time to turn that page. Right? Think about a novel, right? You're introduced to a lot of characters. Some characters stay in the first couple chapters. Other characters, their existence runs through the entire bit of the novel. Other times characters become introduced, they travel for a little bit of time, they fall away, and then they are reminisced about. Like, it's a good example of your life. To this point, no matter where you're at, what your age are when you're listening out there in the metaverse on SR1029thegame.com, Coastal Sports Network, think about all the people, like really, right? Like really, this is one of those where you turn off your tech, you sit by yourself for a couple minutes, and you're like, you know what? Let me just real quick, because we don't do this, I think, enough. Go back and write, 1 through 12, 1 through 10, 1 through 8, whatever your education is, 1 through 16, 1 through 20, places you've lived and whatnot, and just jot down some of the people or some of the places or some of the influences do over that time. And how many of those individuals or places or influences still come with you to where you're sitting at right now on July the 31st, 2025. There's a handful of people from my youth that still come through. Others, not so much. And this is where you have to step outside of your, I want to say this, like your immediate circle. Like, for whatever reason, I'm going to be very general right now, and this is not to stereotype anybody's situation. Like, your immediate family, your grandparents, those people who have like their hand in your life every single day, like you know they're there, right? Yep, 100%. You know they're some good, some bad, some definitely bad influences, some really good influences. We get that. Like everyone's life journey is completely different, but you're sitting here right now, and the umpteen whatever thousand, whatever, 100, whatever people that are listening, like you can sit there and say to yourself, who else, what else has really run through this novel with me? Right? Like, what kind of impact, what kind of existence, what kind of influence still resonates with me? Are they people, places, things that are now in my life that are pushing me towards good decisions, dreams, hopes, and aspirations? Or maybe I'm just hesitant to trade that prospect for something maybe better over the line over here. Because if they've been there for this long, and these influences have been there for this long, at this point in your life, they're not going to go anywhere, in the sense that you're still going to have to interact, you're still going to have to put the time in. But if you've went to college, come back, and your best friend is still there, they're going to be your best friend. To some degree, they're going to be your best friend. Doesn't mean you lean on them consistently and they're your beginning and end all. But if you're worried about, oh, things are going to change so much, oh my God, how do I do this, da 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 da, hopefully this means when you go away, you can pick up the phone like, hey, I'm kind of missing home a little bit. Things are kind of weird. I don't know what's going on. How things going in your life? Okay, cool. Blah 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 blah. You need like these little anchors, these little things, right? Maybe you very early on in your life you were a very religious individual. Maybe you were a very athletic person, and that runs through a theme in your life. Maybe you're a very frugal person. Maybe you're very judicious with things. Maybe you were an individual who was, you've always been very introverted, but you love arts. Okay, cool. And you've always found that through your life. Like, those are the things and the points that you go to when you make these decisions to get outside of your comfort zone, hopefully, that are those healthy moves forwards, knowing that, okay, that's going to be there. Might look different, right? Go chase my dream, but it's going to look a lot different in Texas than it is in Philly. It's going to look a lot different in Chicago than it is in Philly. It's going to look a lot different in Timbuktu than it is in Philly. But that's still there. That base, that principle, that hold, that person that's been through, that entity, that organization, that practice, still there. Those are the things, the people, and the places that ground you. It's good to have that grounding, because hopefully they'll be there when things go well. They'll be there to critique you. They'll be there to be honest with you. But being in control of those decisions and knowing that you have that support around you in some way, it's very reassuring and it's very comforting, especially when you want to take the chances, when you want to roll the dice. Because I'm comfortable here. I know what this is about. I got a couple, prospects over here. Some things might come in, but over there might be a little bit better. Well, guess what? Right now, the iron's hot. I feel prepared for something. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take the chance on me. So, as we move into the weekend, I hope everyone has a really, really wonderful weekend. Hope that you avoid any of this really heavy, potentially drenching rain. I know there's a lot of areas that are under that advisory. We're actually under right now. I can see the clouds rolling in from the top of Studio DD. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the trade deadline. More stuff is breaking as we speak. Be sure to keep up on your favorite team. Good luck as things kick off for the NFL season tonight. Quick, man. Quick, football's back already. Seems like just yesterday we were in New Orleans celebrating the Eagles Super Bowl. But, all right, let's run it up. We're going to run it back again. Please have fun, enjoy, go Birds.
Close my eyes, evening dies. My frame rise up to the sunrise. Brand new tech, new chance, something to say. If I can make a difference in this world, then I make it. So I must, so I trust. All my lyrics just and to this new day.